Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Moor Lane for perhaps the biggest build game of the weekend. Salford City host league leaders AFC Fylde. Salford down in third, 12 points behind Fylde. Would that gap be 9 points by the end of the day, or will Fylde increase it to 15? I'm Will Warcroft. Alongside me I've got Matt Bullen and Jack Lennon. And Matt, what are you expecting from today's clash? Obviously it's been built up all week and I think people are expecting a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think both sides are they're going to go straight at it from the start. Both these sides are in good forms, going for their third straight win. But both sides, I know they're quite free scoring, but both sides are good at the back as well, so it's going to be an interesting one.
Salford kicking us off, kicking right to left in this first half, and they play it back to Patrick Brough. With his sun in his eyes, clears the ball upfield. Phoenix chasing onto this one, bouncing in the area, and Reece Taylor collects it. Reece Taylor starts off in goal with Macaulay Wilson, Tom Kennedy, Steve Williams, Dom Collins, Tom Hollands, one change for Fylde from their 4-1 win against Altrincham last time. Richie Baker, Casper Hughes, captain, top scorer Danny Rowe. Michael Nottingham plays back to Jay Lynch, being chased down by Danny Rowe. With Dan Bradley, Bohan Dixon, a former Ami among the Fylde ranks, is their starting 11. They've got Brendan Daniels, who drops to the bench, Christian Scott, Matt Blinkhorn, Serhat Tastamir and Tony Thompson on the bench. Thompson being their substitute goalkeeper. It's thrown for Fylde on the far side, taken and given into the feet of Dan Bradley, trying to get past his man. Comes off Michael Nottingham, so thrown for Fylde a little bit further up the pitch, maybe 5 yards or so. And getting back to Wilson. Wilson throws it, it comes to the feet of Dan Bradley. Bradley plays back to Dixon on the left hand side now, making Darcy run towards the byline. It's a sliding challenge from Brad Barnes and corner for FC Fylde. First of the game very early on here, and it's not the position Salford have wanted to find themselves in within 70 seconds.
No, I mean, not at all. I mean, Fylde are very good in the air. They're a big side, very physical, so I mean, they'll be looking to get a decent ball in the box and put some pressure on Salford here.
Corner coming in from the far side. Danny Rowe trying to peel off, find some space. Ball comes in, it bounces to the back post, and it's Steve Williams, I think, got the touch on that. Came off the post, and the referee's blowing for a foul anyway, sparing Salford. A couple of blushes there, but it's the other one. We saw it at FC last week, though, didn't we? And Salford drew back into that one, came back into it and won 3-0. So I'll be hoping to repeat that today, grow into this game and see what comes of it. It's a goal kick being taken by Jay Lynch, so it sends out to the right hand side where Josh Hines is making his presence felt. An offside flag against Mike Phoenix. The ball didn't quite get there, so showing how he gave the offside. It's some other big games across the league today. Chorley versus Darlington, that's one that's got massive impact on the playoffs as well. See Darlington trying to get themselves back in. They'll pull themselves within point of Chorley with a win in that one. Elsewhere as well, Stockport, they're playing Stalybridge Celtic, and they will be looking to reaffirm their grip on the playoffs, having made it there in midweek with a win over Brackley. It's a very surprise loss for Brackley, who seems to be losing the games in hand very quickly. Throws taken foul on this near side. It's brought down by Tom Hollands, who's trying to pick out Bohan Dixon. Patrick Brough gets a clearance in. There's a sliding challenge with Simon Grant and Tom Holland. Both have gone down clutch to the heads. That looked like quite a nasty one there. They both went for it. It's just hope they're both okay.
Yeah, I mean, the ball bobbled, and it was a fair challenge for both of them to go for. Just like, I think, clash of heads as they both went in for the slide tackle. A bit unusual, but yeah, they both seem to be getting back to their feet now, so it should be good to keep going.
Fylde with an already big injury list. The last thing they want would be a foul to their an injury to their new loan signing.
No, it wouldn't be the greatest of starts to the game, but definitely one they wouldn't be expecting either. But no, Fylde have started on the front four, but I think that's kind of what Salford do expect. And Fylde's form's been good recently, but you look at Danny Rowe scoring 35 goals this season so far, but recently he hasn't been putting them away as much as he did sort of earlier on. So I think they'd be keen to just get the ball forward and let Danny do his work.
Well, both sides do match each other game for game with the form over the last 5 games. Both have got 4 wins and 1 loss. So Fylde with 2 losses in the last 6, those coming away at Curzon Ashton, at home to Chorley back on Boxing Day. And I suppose the Curzon Ashton one was a big shock to the system, but Matty Warburton, left here, goes back to Curzon and scores the goals. So he seems a shrewd move by John O'Bernard.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Warburton was he was highly rated by the managers here at Salford, but he just didn't quite fit into the first team plans. Maybe didn't get the opportunities he wanted. Obviously, a former Curzon man himself, so he's gone back to where he'll get some good game time and hopefully get some good goals for him.
Well, we're still waiting for the assessment to be finished on Simon Grant. He was first back on his feet, but he's gone back down again, and he's just having his ankle seen to. Whether he's clattered into it, but he'd be a massive loss for Salford. Steve Howson on the bench to come on. He's got a natural partnership with Billy Priestley. We saw that last season, but obviously he's getting used to the fullbacks and what else is offered.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Howson was a massive part of last season, but looking at this season, game time wise, he hasn't had all that much, and to maybe throw him into the deep end here in a game like this, hopefully it wouldn't be much of an effect because of how good of a player he is, but it'd be a big test for him.
That's not looking good for Grant. He's back on his feet, but he doesn't look comfortable at all with the walking. He's not comfortable there, is he? He's really struggling, so I think we're going to have an early change here. It'll be Steve Howson inevitably the one to come on. He's not had much football, but you'd hope they'll come on and do a job.
Yeah, I mean, it's so early in the game, it won't be that different for him than starting, to be honest, because all the rest of the players will still be fresh. No side's really built up any momentum yet. Neither side's been able to really get a foot on the ball and take this game by the throat. So it's a shame for Salford, they're losing their captain so early.
Yeah, I mean, we think he's coming off. I mean, he's not limping so much now, but I think even as a precaution, you've got to think about taking him off, even in a game this big. I mean, Steve Howson's not been called back to DK. I think we're just going to see if Grant's all right. We're back underway here. Billy Priestley hand the ball clear. In the middle is Richie Baker. Likes to break up the play, gets it down to Danny Rowe, comes back to Richie Baker in the middle, is dispossessed by Scott Burton, but another foot in from Files. They've got a lot of players in this area, and Bohan Dixon now on the right hand side. Simon Grant looks like he is going to come back on, which is a bit of a boost. Cross comes in, it's looking for Rowe, but it's headed clear by Scott Burton of all people. He's not exactly matching Danny Rowe for height. Simon Grant makes his way on the pitch. They might just give it a couple of minutes, see what it's like as Salford send the ball forward, but it's cleared by Files, headed back by Dan Bradley. So Files still have it in their possession with left back at the moment, who's clattered himself there. Goes down, but it's going to be a throw in for Files on that far side. I suppose worryingly, Salford haven't really had much of the ball in the opening 6 minutes. I mean, I know we just had a 4-minute break, but even in the 2.5 minutes we have played, it was all Filed really.
Yeah, but they haven't, apart from the one corner, they haven't really created much. They haven't done much with the possession that they have had. It's been a bit frenetic to start with. As I said before, neither side have been able to really hold on to their possession, sort of play it around, do anything sort of useful with it yet. So as the game goes on, we'll be hoping for Salford to just...
Grant plays good ball down the right hand side. Phoenix tries to knock the ball past his man and cuts his side. He went down as he did, and Filed had the ball back with Reece Taylor, who gets it clear upfield. Rowe flicking it on, looking for the run down this near side of Casper Hughes, I think that was. So throw it, Dan Bradley rather. So throwing for File. Macaulay Wilson with the ball in his hands, looking for a run from Tom Holland, who's back on the pitch and looks okay as well. Goes down the line looking for Bohan Dixon. Billy Priestley gets round him, gets the boot in it, and it's out for a throw in to File, very deep inside the Salford half on this near side. And it's again Wilson who's going to take it, takes it short into Holland, gives it back to him. Patrick Brough gets across, gets a foot in there, blocks it out for another throw into Files, and we started off really intensely here, Files have, and it's unsurprising. Obviously they want to come here, impose themselves on the game. So Wilson looks like he's lining up a little bit of a longer throw. So Holland makes a run towards the byline. Jordan Hulme gets in and does get it clear, but it's only as far as Steve Williams plays it back forward. Brough heading it clear for Salford. Hulme trying to bring it down. George Green putting himself in there. Lose out to Macaulay Wilson though. Wilson tries to get the cross in. Blocked by Patrick Brough, and out for another throw into Filed. And Salford got to just get a boot through it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need to try and get it up to Phoenix, who will hopefully be able to hold it up and just win them a bit of time, really, so they can sort of get set up at the back again. But yeah, at the moment, all Filed.
Wilson gets it down to Dan Bradley. He's come back to try and make a difference. He's blocked off by Scott Burton. The ball goes out for a corner. Second corner of the game to Files, this time from the near side. I'll just wait for this one to come in. I mean, number 7, Richie Baker, to pop it in. He's got Casper Hughes short if he wants to, but he's going to cross this one into the box. Now Swinger coming in. It's flicks on, saved on the line by Jay Lynch. That looked dead certain to go in. Jay Lynch really well positioned there. Mike Phoenix think it was next to him, and Salford, lucky escape there.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a pretty disastrous start if they were to concede there. Just pretty great stuff from Lynch and Phoenix, combining to first make the save and then clear it away. But Fylde have a throw on the far side now, looking to build up another attack.
So play back out to left hand side. Kennedy with the ball in. Rose peeled off here, brings it down, footing from Billy Priestley, cleared up in the air by Salford. George Green challenging for it. Shot comes in low from the left hand side to box from Danny Rowe, but it's along the ground straight into the arms of Jay Lynch, who sees it up into them. But I know we went behind before, but that's not what you want to see, like players free in the box and Fylde getting shots off.
No, not at all. It's no, it obviously won't be the plan that John and Byrne have sent the boys out with, and in recent games, from set pieces, we've looked quite strong and have picked up players as the offside flag goes up there against Bohan Dixon. So hopefully, that's only going to be one of the few corners of the game where the Fylde find themselves free in the box.
Yeah, definitely just a little bit of a switch off moment. Maybe Salford still trying to get themselves back together after that breaking play not so long ago. Like I say, offside flag against Bohan Dixon, who didn't have too bad a spell here at Moor Lane in his time at the back end of the 14-15 season. He was signed by Phil Powell, so he's already here when John and Byrne came in. So didn't make too many appearances. Scored a couple of vital goals. Mike Phoenix at the other end now trying to create an opportunity. It's dealt with by Tom Kennedy, headed clear by Fylde, flicked onto Danny Rowe, keeps the ball alive. Patrick Brough wins the header there though, headed back forward by Fylde, brought down well by Dixon. Priestley again at clear, it falls to the feet of Brad Barnes. Barnes sensibly playing out to Patrick Brough, who's chased down by Danny Rowe. Simon Grand's going to get to that one and plays it back to Jay Lynch, who brings it under his control before sending it clear off field. And Fylde pressing very high. Salford slip here though. George Green's in from the right hand side. Still going, he's got options in the box ahead of him. Green across top of the box now, still going. On left foot, shot blocked at the edge of the box. It's headed back forward by Billy Priestley into Michael Nottingham. Flicks it round his man. Hughes onto this one now, puts cross in, takes touch off Fylde. Out for the corner to Salford. That's much better than the first attack of the game for the Ammies.
Yeah, I mean, that's really woken up the crowd. It's the first time they've shown any real intensity with possession. Green capitalising well on the Fylde man's slip, and he's going to be the one to take the corner now.
Making his way over to the far side, just underneath the new floodlight, which, if I do say so myself, looks absolutely awesome if you haven't seen the pictures of it. So Green looks like he's going to take the in-swing. Salford crowding the 6-yard box. It's high lofted into the far post. Simon Grant heads it back across. Coming in is Patrick Brough, and I think that came off the foul player. It's out for a throw to Salford deep inside the Fylde's half on this near side. Josh Hine coming across to take that one. So there must be some wayward deflection to end up as a throw-in. So Josh Hine has it in his hands. He's, as we know, he's got a very long throw on him. So good opportunity for Salford to put that ball into the box. Hine, long run up, goes direct towards the near post, flicked on by Billy Priestley. It's in the goal! Salford take the lead here after 12 minutes. Throw in from this near side, flicked on by Billy Priestley, unmarked into far post, and Salford City leads. And that's exactly the response that they would have wanted.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great start now for Salford. I mean, this is their first real attack. Haven't had much of the ball, but that is really criminal defending from Fylde. I mean, he was totally unmarked in the box. Long throw comes in, he just gets a deft little header, and it just... Fylde player almost cleared it on the line, to be fair, but didn't quite get there, and Salford take the lead.
So Priestley's second goal this season, and what a goal to get potentially it could be.
Scored by number 6, Billy Priestley.
Yeah, just a sigh of relief that it is Billy Priestley. We just had to check that one just in case it wasn't. It definitely was, and that's a great goal for him. Like we say, he doesn't score many, but he's come into the team since Jack Demon left. He's forged a solid partnership with Grandy, and I suppose the goal's the icing on the cake for him.
It seems that Billy Priestley only seems to like to score in big games. He scored today against Fylde, league leaders. And obviously he scored one more this season, but his biggest goal to date would have been in the playoff final of last year. So he loves a big game goal by the sounds of it.
Yeah, and that's going to give everyone a boost around here, isn't it? I mean, Fylde's, that's not what they'd have been expecting, the poor defensive. Salford almost in again here. So Reece Taylor's come out, he's clattered think that's Josh Hine on the far side. He's done so, and both of them have stayed down now. It's a break on the far side, and again, that looks like another nasty clash. Josh Hine's back on his feet, but Reece Taylor doesn't look too comfortable at the moment. And, well, not that you like seeing incidents like that, so often we've got a corner, but I suppose at the moment it's showing that both teams are going to go for this. Like, no one's holding back on these challenges.
Exactly. I mean, it's obviously these two sides are right up the top of the league, and neither of them want to lose this game. They both need the points on the board. The win would take Salford second. There seems to be a bit of space in behind for Salford at the moment. I mean, that's where the initial chance for the goal came from, and now...
And that's due to foul play in that high line, isn't it?
Indeed. And so, who's... Hine had a decent chance there before he went down in the 50-50, but he did win the corner, so for another good delivery from George Green.
Yeah, the last one, he might have overshot it a little bit. He's been looking to get a little bit less distance, but it was a good height as well. It was very threatening towards the back post. And obviously with Nottingham, Phoenix, Priestley, Brands, that's what he wants to do. Green with the in-swinging corner from the far side now. That's much better, much lower. It's headed clear at the near post by Dixon. Comes Hume on the edge, shoots in. Flex on by Nottingham! Salford double the lead after 15 minutes. Hume put it straight back in. Nottingham not flick on it. It was on target from Hume anyway. He's the one celebrating, so I don't know who to give that one to.
I don't know, and if I'm being completely honest, I'm not really bothered because it's 2-0. We're talking about the final start was what we were sort of expecting, a lot of pressure. Well, 2-0 after 16 minutes is definitely not expected.
It was on target from Hume as it came out to him on the edge of the box. He waited for it. He just put his foot through it. It was on target. So whether he gets it anyway or Nottingham gets it for getting the last minute header on it, what do you think, Matt?
Well, it looked like it was already on target, so I think Hume might get away with that one. But Nottingham will try to claim that, I'm sure, as a defender. But it's what the Salford Gaffs can't ask for much more here. 2 chances, 2 goals. What a start! What a start!
Oh, McGreen, I'm giving it to Jordan there. I think maybe that's a little bit after last week as well, giving him an own goal. But yeah, like you say, what a start that is. I mean, to come back that saved off the line there and then immediately you're 2-0 up.
I mean, it's a game of fine margins, isn't it? That save on the line proving so crucial already. I mean, being a goal down, now they're 2 up.
So a goal kick at the other end. Jay Lynch placing the ball down. Yeah, Wonderland. I mean, I can't believe that. Genuinely, I cannot believe that's just happened. Obviously, there's still a long way to go. So Salford trying to come forward again. So Scott Burton gets in there, plays it forward. Jordan Hulme keeps it alive though. And it's Josh Hine now on the right-hand side, tries to get past his man, plays back to cuts the side of his man, but it's a free kick against him for a shove in the back and free kick Files. But sorry, you're going to say?
Just a word on that celebration as well, celebrating with a dab. Controversial decision.
I missed that one. I think luckily by the sounds of it. What goals did I just see go in? Chorley 0, Darlington 1. Gary Brown with the goal there. I suppose that's good news in one way. As Files get ready to take the goal kick. Reece Taylor looks like he's okay. Back on his feet now after that collision with Josh Hine just a couple of minutes ago. And the ball's straight back at the other end with Jay Lynch. And Files sells just seems to be a little bit deflated. I mean, you can't blame them. After Salford coming out like that, but just their pressing seems to have gone a little bit more defensive. Like you said, there was a lot of space behind that Salford were exploiting, and I suppose they've just got to rethink the tactics, Dave Challoner and co.
Yeah, and I mean the high line definitely played into Salford's hands. I mean they've obviously been looking at that and working on that in training, getting the long balls up to the wide man, so they can get in behind. But another chance for Salford now is Hume prepares to launch a long ball into the box.
Yeah, another long throw from Josh on the far side. Loops in towards near post. Grand jumps for it. It's headed into him. Shot comes in from Priestley. Came to him at an awkward height, but he got his foot up, stabbed out of it, and just played it over the bar into the stand behind. But again, Farm not dealing with these balls into the box too convincingly.
You know, it's one of those things that we've talked about in sort of recent weeks. The sort of added aerial threat that Salford have had this season, and we've seen it in every game sort of in January, the threat that we bring now from set pieces and any sort of ball into the box, and even your top of the league team are struggling to deal with it.
As the goal kick came through, it's flicked on by Dixon. Rose chasing through, he had the legs on Billy Priestley there, but the ball ran back into Jay Lynch's area for him to come and collect it before Rogue got on the end of it. He's staying up to try and put Jay Lynch off, but Lynch gets his clearance upfield. Hume now trying to bring it down under control, but Kennedy Heads clear only as far as Hulme. Fylde have it back, another turnover. And they clear up the left hand side into the feet of Dixon on the halfway line. He plays it in field, brought down by Hughes, who brings Wilson into the game, charging up from right back, looking to get the cross in. Macaulay Wilson just comes off the end of his boots and goes out for a throw into Salford, and maybe a little bit of a lack of concentration there.
Yeah, I think he looked down at the pitch, trying to blame the pitch there, I think, but yeah, disappointing from him there because he had a bit of space to work with on the right.
In the FA Trophy, Nuneaton losing 3-0 at York already. So just under 20 minutes gone there, so I think they'll be back to league action very shortly. So another throw in for Salford, about where they took the last one. The ball's headed back out. Gloucester have got a goal away at AFC Telford United. So that's 1-0 there. Yeah, I hope it's Gloucester. Social media guru to my right hand side pointing it out. So Patrick Brough coming up to take the throw in. Goes flat, Hulme flicks it on into Phoenix, holds it off his man. As Josh Hine chases it down, Reece Taylor can't pick this one up. He's going to have to play it out for a throw in. And Salford again with that chance to put the ball into the box. Josh Hine, that's exactly what he would have wanted. Like Taylor comes for it, he either clears it out for a long throw like that, or he makes a mistake and Josh is in on goal there.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely another good chance now for Salford. It just seems to be there's a lot of big men in the Salford team, and they're really winning the physical battle at the moment, especially with the balls coming in the box. And Fylde really need to just one of them just needs to take charge and get a head on it and get the clearance.
Hine just lining up his throw. He's got a fair way to get this one. He's got the run. Loops in towards the near post. It's headed into the danger area by Fylde, but headed clear and foot through it from Casper Hughes. Now it's Dan Bradley chasing it down. It's cleared back upfield by, I think that's Scott Burton, and out to play for a goal kick to Fylde. Dealing with that, well, eventually dealt with better than Fylde, but questions being asked. They're heading it into the danger area, into the 6-yard penalty spot, and that's nearly criminal, isn't it?
It is. I mean, that one is a good clearance in the end, but it was very frantic to get there.
Bradford have taken the lead at Curzon Ashton, I think that is. And they're saying they've scored. I'm not seeing another goal from that one. Just waiting for Reece Taylor to take this goal kick. Aims out towards this right-hand side, sun in the eyes, flicked on by Macaulay Wilson though, only into Patrick Brough, who sends it back up the other way. Phoenix chasing this one down against Steve Williams. Williams, again, being forced to play the ball out, play for a long throw into Salford. And it is 1-0 to Bradford Park Avenue over the city at Curzon Ashton. But right here, all the concentration is on Salford, leading 2-0 just after 20 minutes against league leaders AFC Fylde. And another throw-in coming in from Josh Hine. Down by the corner flag on this near side. Again, bodies in the box for Salford. Hine loops it in again into the middle. It's flicked on by Grant towards the back post. No one getting on the end of it though. Or is it Priestley? No, it's Priestley who flicked that one on. But no one at the back post waiting to get on the end of that one. Vulnerability still there, and I suppose as much pressure and possession as we were saying Fylde had in the opening stages, Salford are really giving that back to them now.
Yeah, really, since that first goal, it's been all Salford. Fylde have really barely been out of their own half, to be honest. Another decent chance there, you've got to say. Another Salford man wins the header. I mean, Fylde really not dealing with these balls into the box well.
So another goal kick being taken by Taylor. He's getting plenty of kicking practice this afternoon, former New Saints keeper. Grant heads it forward, Hine flicking it on further, but it's Macaulay Wilson who gets underneath that one. Barnes sends it back up the other way for Hulme to chase up against Wilson. He's got the body strength there. It's headed out by Fylde. Again, another throw for Salford, might just about be in Hine territory. I suppose conceding all these throws might be a cheeky tactic from Fylde to get Salford's defenders running up and down the pitch.
Well, yeah, you know.
Cynically thinking.
Yeah, a little bit cynical, but, you know, that's where most of our height comes from. And,
he's gone short, Josh Hine has. Gets into George Green. It's Carolyn's run. Heine's in behind here. He cuts back and plays it back out to Green. First time cross coming in, hooked into the far post. Mike Phoenix heads it back across on the turn. It's Billy Priestley puts it in, but offside flag's gone up against Mike Phoenix. Right decision.
Yeah, I mean, the flag was up very early there. No reason for the fans to get excited, really. It was decent looping ball in from Green, but unfortunately Phoenix just found himself offside as he headed it back across goal.
So 2-0 after 23 minutes. Not many would have been expecting that one. Taylor with the goal kick. Simon Grant wins ahead of Danny Rowe, sent back forward by Fylde. Priestley with a very acrobatic header forward there. Green brings it down and Burton plays it in space on his left hand side. No one there for Salford. I think he was expecting Patrick Brough. So Bohan Dixon picks it up and plays it back to Steve Williams, who scored the equaliser back at Mill Farm in August in the 3-3 draw. Plenty of goals in that one, and you'd like to think plenty of goals today. Obviously more for Salford and not any for Fylde as it's going.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it looks like Salford could score at any moment, really, with the balls coming in the box. Fylde really aren't dealing with them well.
No. Good challenge by Brad Barnes, beating Dan Bradley to it, but he plays the loose ball up into a bit of no man's land. Fylde have it back with Taylor, strokes it across the right hand side to Kennedy, former Evertonian. His ball forwards, Priestley heading it out to play for thrown to Fylde on the far side. So that ball came over the top of him, just had to watch it carefully. It wasn't in the box, so he can play it back to Jay Lynch. And Fylde gets back underway quickly, but Scott Burton breaking up the play in the middle there, getting it back, plays it into Brad Barnes, very close to him, turns out of trouble, plays back to Nottingham, and Nottingham eventually getting that boot clear. Fylde head it back forward. Brad Barnes picks up that ball though, sends it back the other way, headed back forward by Dom Collins. Now it's with Steve Williams, brings it across to Wilson in the right back position here for Fylde, back into Williams in the middle, hooks the ball forward, got a lot underneath that. Simon Grand heads it back up in the air to stall it temporarily. Bradley wins the header, comes down to Richie Baker. Baker charging forward now, brings in Kennedy on the left hand side. Cross comes in, charged down by Billy Priestley, who's chasing this one out to Danny Rose, not getting to it. He's been dragged out a long way, Billy Priestley here, but he retreats now as ball's played back out to Fylde. Captain on the left hand side, plays ball over the top. Priestley gets his booting out for another throw into Fylde on that far side. That was good defending from Priestley there as Fylde gets back underway. Bradley into defeated Baker. Baker across the row in space here. He's got in space onto his right foot, sliding challenge in from Scott Burton. Nearly would have been a carbon copy of his goal back at Mill Farm in August. That sort of position. And it's a mistake there by Michael Nottingham. Jay Lynch come out of his goal, sliding in there was Richie Baker. That was cynical. Rest reaching for his pockets. This yellow card for Richie Baker as he slid on Jay Lynch there, and that was very naughty.
It was. I mean, it looked like Lynch was going to be first to the ball. He was going to be the only winner in that challenge, and it really did from here. It looked like he went in two studs up, then aimed at Jay Lynch's chest. But looks like the ref's going to be dishing out a yellow for him. But no, really could be a red. Really, I mean, the Salford crowd want the red, as you can hear.
I don't think that's a good decision. I mean, obviously we're going to be biased there, but he has slid in two-footed into Jay there. I think Jay was always favourite for that, and it's either very misjudged or you don't like to think it, but he's done that knowing what he was doing.
No, I mean, it depends obviously what view the referee had and where he was on the pitch. So I think from our angle up here it does look, but it probably looks a lot worse than I'm guessing what the referee's angle was. But
I don't know. I mean, Jay's not one to stay down.
No, not at all. Yeah, Jay's one of those players who, if he's hurt, and you kind of know about it. He's not one of these to sort of fake the injury or make it sound like as bad as it is. But no, it'd be interesting to see that one again on the replay.
Just ringing impartial view in Phil Brennan, editor of non-league mag. What was your thought on that one?
It was dangerous play, and for me it's a red card. I think the referee bottled it, put his hand in his pocket too quick, brought the card out and realised it wasn't the right colour for me. I think it's a red card all day long. Luckily
Jay is back on his feet. He's just taking a sip of water. I imagine he's going to need that after that. That would have shaken him up a little bit. But he's put it down, looks to be carrying on. Craig Dewson is on the bench if Salford have got any serious goalkeeping issues. I think that was after, again, someone went in quite nasty on him at FC last weekend. It was maybe not as intentional there, that clash, as we get back underway, but he's taking a little bit of rough and tumble among all his clean sheets, Jay Lynch is. Brad Barnes sending the ball up in the air. Josh Hine putting himself in, but Fylde win it. Bohan Dixon goes down too easily under pressure from Michael Nottingham, and the referee gives a free kick to Salford about level with the bottom of the centre circle. So Fylde just looking a little bit frustrated, a little bit lost here at Moor Lane.
Yeah, I mean, other than the early chance when they had it cleared off the line, they haven't really created much else. I mean, obviously most of that time has been taken up by Salford domination, but they're starting to build up a little bit of momentum now, but haven't created much, as I said, and Salford looking pretty solid at the back at the moment.
Lynch slips, he takes the kick, headed clear by Steve Williams, flipped on by Dan Bradley. Scott Burst in the middle, just heading it back the other way, and George Green bringing it down into Paddy Brough. Brough playing it up in the air upfield. Jordan Hulme flicks it on. Phoenix onside here, trying to get to the byline. Just in the box up against Williams, being forced out towards the corner, looking for support. Patrick Brough's giving it and he finds Brough. Brough now gets crossed in, takes deflection up in towards the near post. Headed clear by Dom Collins. Patrick Brough lets it bounce. Holds it off his man. George Green lets it go for a throw into Salford. I think Green was looking to take that one quickly, but quite sensibly Josh Hines coming over for this one. Funnily enough, we've not really mentioned George Green in the game yet. We were saying before about his potential impact, and not really been on it. He's had a couple of moments and crosses in, but he's just lingering short for this one, foul marking him up. So I imagine Josh will go long here. He's taking a run in back. Harrogate have scored. Find out what that score is in a second. Hine though, towards the near post, loop in. It's somehow cleared by Files, and Tom Holland puts it through. Scott Burton playing it back to Jay Lynch. So Stockport County 1, Stalybridge 0. So maybe not the result we want to see, but as long as we win, as John will keep saying, that's all we can do, isn't it? When you're running in, just focus on yourself and not others.
It is. I mean, unless you're playing the league leaders like they are today, and that's the only way they can do it. Just keep winning their games, and obviously it's a bonus if the other teams slip up around them. But yeah, that's all they can do. Keep picking up as many points as they can.
Brough plays ball down into Phoenix, who's again turned past his man Wilson. It comes off Wilson out for a throw into Salford. I'm losing count of our throws now. I should start noting them down really, but that must be the 6th or 7th. Again from this near side, down by the corner flag as Josh Hine makes his way across. Just over 30 minutes gone. I imagine there'll be a fair chunk of added time at the end of the half, but Salford leading 2-0 here at Moor Lane against the league leaders AFC Fylde, and at the moment that will put them up into second place. It's Josh Hine winding up another throw. Taking his time over this one. He's got a fair run in though, down by the corner flag. Hine towards near post. It's again headed across the box by Files, but it comes clear to the left hand side and brought clear by Richie Baker. Lucky to still be on the pitch maybe. Blocked by Billy Priestley. Trying to get past him, he does so as well. Priestley by the corner, gets the crossing as well. It's pushed behind by Reece Taylor. It's I think he's given offside there, the linesman on the far side. Offside, but that's great play by Billy Priestley.
Yeah, it is. It's an insatiable, really. He's not really in his own natural position there, out on the right wing, but he chased the ball down, beat his man, and managed to get in a pretty decent cross, really.
Insatiable, what word that is. Never heard you come out with that, Jack.
Step my game up, obviously. Wait a minute, Billy Priestley's playing like a man possessed. He's everywhere. I don't know. I'm not sure.
The last two games, how many times have we said that he's potential man of the match, and already in half an hour he's doing the same?
I'm not sure what's happened to him in the past month or so, but in January he's been absolutely unreal. I just wanted to point out earlier, I'm pretty sure Josh Hine has had more throw-ins than touches in this first half. I'm sure he has, because it must be, 7 or 8 now, just on this side.
That is a very good shout. I'm sure if we end up watching this one back, I might count that one up. Patrick Brough throws the ball back forward. Dan Bradley heads it forward, brought down by Bohan Dixon on his chest, but taken off him by Brad Barnes. Tries to play it across. Takes the deflection off Richie Bacon. Falls kindly for Jay Lynch anyway at the edge of his box. Brings it out quite a way, but he gets his goal kick right, or his cleared kick right, rather. Don Collins heads back forward for Fylde, only as far as Michael Nottingham. He's been the other side defender as well, scoring the goals, but we've still been talking about Billy Priestley. Plays back into his captain Simon Grant, who looks to have shaken off that ankle injury. Angles the ball to the left hand side, but it's won by Files. Flicked on by Bradley into row, given back to Bradley. Now he's up against Priestley on the left hand side, gets past him. Priestley uses his body well there to hold him off and out for a throw into Salford City. It's Bradley, who's signed from Atherton Town, who was their top scorer. So got, I think, 7 goals since coming into Fylde, and he scored a few for Atherton as well. So he'll be up and around where Phoenix is for league goals this season. Ball's loose in the middle, Fylde trying to bring it under control, bounces off them out for another throw, and Salford on the halfway line on the far side. First 3 minutes played, still 2-0 here on Salford City Radio. We can't call it that because there is a Salford City Radio. We need to come up with a name for this station soon. If anyone's got any ideas, please do tweet us in at Salford City FC, at WillTM10, and let us know what you think. If you've got any bright spark ideas. The ball comes back through to Reece Taylor. Redistributes out to this near side, out to Macaulay Wilson. Wilson sends the ball forward. into Bohan Dixon, controls it well. There's a lot of power on that. He's got Bradley ahead of him on the right hand side, turns back, being marked well by Patrick Brough, has to play it back to Steve Williams, and his hot clearance comes out into this near side, out for a throw in to Salford City, and that's where you can see Salford are really getting under the skins of Fylde here.
Yeah, definitely, that was great pressing from Brough, and eventually forced the pass back, and he was being pressed by Phoenix, I think it was, and he's forced to make a rash clearance.
Chorley 1, Darlington 1. It's equalised for Chorley there. That's another good result if that one comes in, stays like that. Come on Chorley, come on Darlington, do us proud, stay like that, and just favour please to Staley Bridge, please equalise, but you can't have everything, can you? In this one, Brough thrown back forwards, comes off Wilson, out for a throw into Salford. Josh Hulme picks up very well. Well, immediately he was right there in the play, and looks like he's going to get this one in. Another long one coming up. Salford all making their way up. And I think shout of frustration behind the goal there. Someone saying just win the header. I'm guessing that's a Fylde fan. Hulme lines up this one, comes in into the middle of the box, header clear this time by Fylde, again across the box. Barnes with a shot in, comes up to Priestley acrobatically, and he's put that one over the bar. It's a good effort from him. You can see the confidence going for him to try that. Not many centre-backs can get a bicycle kick-off.
I mean, yeah, would have been one of the goals of the season if it had come off. I mean, the balls, Fylde win the header, clear it out. Ball's come back in from Barnes, and he's come to him, he's chested it down, flicked it up and attempted a rather audacious overhead kick.
Taylor again with the goal kick. It was interesting, back in August, a few people were asking why Taylor wasn't playing ahead of Tony Thompson, who was the keeper back then, and Thompson then conceded 3 goals. People were saying Taylor should have played well. Taylor's conceded 2 already, so don't know, maybe what was going on there. Jay Lynch this time slicing the clearance, comes out for a throw into Fylde on this near side, down by the corner flag. Salford definitely got to keep the wits about them around here. Macaulay Wilson gets into Tom Holland, takes it well, turns past his man as well, squares it across the top of the box to Dan Bradley. Bradley back out to Wilson. Wilson trying to get the cross in, cuts to the side of Patrick Brough. Low cross, Graham with a poor header, comes to the edge of the box. Shot comes in from Casper Hughes, and it's cued over the bar. Out to play for a goal kick. I think it's that Billy Priestley now down with a head injury of sorts. Don't know, but shot coming in from Casper Hughes there. I think you could just see the trepidation, I think, at the edge of the box as he leaned back as he took that one.
Yeah, I think Hulme was closing him down very quickly, and it was came to him at an awkward height really, and he managed to get the shot off, but just sliced it high and wide. So now Jay Lynch with the goal kick. I mean, good little passage of play there from Fylde down the right hand side, but didn't really manage to fashion a chance.
So Worcester have scored against Tamworth, and I think Harrogate's still leading 1-0 against Boston United. Ball's back up in the middle, headed forward by Brad Barnes. Collins with the clearance, Brough playing it back up the other way, out to the right hand side. Jordan Hulme trying to make a nuisance of himself up against Tom Kennedy. Scored Salford's equaliser back at Mill Farm back in August, and poor ball across from Tom Holland. That'll play for a throw in to Salford on this near side. Dave Challoner looking less than impressed in the Fylde dugout there.
Yeah, I think it was a bit overhit, that pass there. He was asking a lot of his fullback to chase that down in, and Macaulay Wilson didn't even really attempt it because it was just too far gone.
Patrick Brough again with the throw on this near side, plays it into George Green. Green back to Brough, just over the halfway line, sent it back forward. Phoenix going behind here. Reece Taylor's come for it. He got there, and the offside flag goes up anyway against Mike Phoenix. Just a couple of times, gone a little bit too early. Just got to hold his run off a little bit, and Salford will be in behind here. Like, there's still that space there.
Yeah, definitely. That's been apart from the balls into the box, that's been the main attacking threat really, especially through Hine and Green, but. Yeah, Phoenix as well, having a couple of chances to get in behind. Just hasn't quite timed his run right, as we said.
Wasted kick from Taylor, straight out to play on this near side in the Salford half for a Salford throw-in. Patrick Brough, again, as the left back's going to be inclined to take, and everyone think he's got to be really pleased with signing his loan extension till the end of the season. He's playing well, he's playing good football, and it's a good move for him, like, keep him playing, and he's doing a good job for Salford.
Yeah, definitely. As a young player, it's important to get games, and especially he's in the starting 11 here. He's playing really well. Salford are on a great run, which he's contributed to a lot of clean sheets, which is obviously good for him, and I'm sure that it's a good deal for both parties.
Foul by Bohan Dixon on Michael Nottingham, shoved him in the back as Billy Priestley stood his ground and must have sent shockwave through Bohan Dixon. I mean, that's an almighty clash. He's a pretty big lad, Bohan is. But free kick for Salford coming up. Kurz and Ashton have scored the equaliser. Two former Ammies. Luke Clark setting up Matt Warburton against who were Curzon playing? Bradford Park, haven't you? Yeah, BPA, so it's 1-1. Yeah, I can imagine they aren't happy. It's 1-1 over in Tameside. Not that either of those results really have an effect on Salford, who are going to be looking up the table more than looking down if this result comes in as it is. 5 minutes left to the first half, plus probably 5 or 6 minutes at a time as well at the end of the first half for Salford to lead out, but they are winning 2-0 at the moment. Burton plays ball into feet to George Green, who holds off the challenge coming in from Holland. Both on loan from Premier League clubs. Green's dispossessed eventually by Tom Kennedy, waving his arms in the air, claiming he was fouled. Fylde to play it forwards, looking for Bohan Dixon to get on the end of it. Billy Priestley again getting a foot in, just getting the block in, seeing it out, but only at the expense of the throw for Fylde. Dixon gets it back into middle. It's played into the feet of Holland. Holland with the cross in to the top of the box. Brough queuing it clear in the air, and Mike Phoenix, whose defensive work, send it back upfield out to play for a throw into AFC Fylde in their right back position. So good defending there from Salford. It was, again, Fylde looking to play that ball across the top of the box, and I think Salford doing well just to get the last man, get that foot in.
Yeah, definitely. They're just the defenders of Salford are just really doing the basics right at the moment, just getting those clearances and just no nonsense defending really, which is, I'm sure, exactly what the two managers will want.
Throw from Macaulay Wilson into feet of Bradley. Bradley playing it across to Casper Hughes. Hughes back to Dom Collins. Plays a rather unfortunate ball back to Reece Taylor. Not quite where he wanted it. And Taylor, again, can only put his free kick out to play for a throw into Salford, just on the halfway line. Patrick Brough again. He's getting plenty of throwing practice this afternoon as well. Paddy is. Goes up the line looking for Jordan Hulme. He's turned past his man. Hulme lets it bounce into Phoenix, being held at the moment by Steve Williams. Hulme pickpockets Wilson there, and Phoenix has got clear, driving in towards the box, gets it onto the edge into George Green. Green now holds off the challenge, looking to play it back to Patrick Brough. He's taking it right down to the corner. Green has still used his strength to hold his man off and still coming with it. Green, he's a magical mystery run here, and eventually he's had to play it back to Simon Grand. Needs a warm applause. I think he's done well giving the pressure on in there. George Green has. He's made a very loopy run, couldn't really get anything off, so credit to Fylde, good defending, but Salford do have it back up in the Fylde half. Phoenix turning past his man, he's kept it in on the far side, just run, taking a touch off Tom Kennedy after the throw in Salford, but credit to George Green there, credit to Fylde for their defending.
Yeah, I think he got the ball in a decent position. He just sort of ran out of support, really ran himself into a bit of trouble, but yeah, credit to him to keeping hold of the ball and managing to retain possession for Salford.
Hine again with the long throw, this time from the far side. Looking to loop another one in. Goes into the middle of the box. It's still up in the air. It's brought clear by Bohan Dixon. Free kick anyway for Fylde after a foul by Salford in the box. A chance to clear the lines. A couple of minutes left in this first half plus any added time. Darlington saying that it should be 2-1. It's still 1-1 up at Victory Park. Taylor waiting to send this one clear. Everyone groups in the middle of the pitch. This one goes straight up the middle. Grand challenging Dixon for it, wins the header, but it's brought down by Fylde out towards the left hand side. Michael Nottingham just letting it go out for a throw in to Salford. Just interesting, Danny Rowe tracking him back in. We've hardly said his name this half.
Yeah, I mean that would have been one of Salford's big plans, I'm sure, to keep that man quiet. It's going to be difficult with we've already talked about the amount of goals he's scored. He's been in absolute prime form this whole season, but yeah, they've done really well to keep him quiet, and I think it's due to the work of the midfielders, really, not because the Fylde midfielders haven't been able to provide him with any service, really.
So 1-1 Worcester versus Tamworth, and just come back to that, Brad Burton really is a formidable partnership, isn't it?
It is, and it's one you can't really go wrong with. I think that should be now their midfield partnership nickname. But at the minute those two are just controlling that middle of the pitch and not really letting Fylde have much breathing space, and I think that's one of the things that's frustrating Fylde.
And with the throw, this time it is headed out clear by Fylde, by Dixon. Comes to George Green on the edge though, takes a touch backwards to buy himself a little bit of space, slips as he does so, trying to be too clever. He's still got it though, George Green has, brought down, not before he's got it back to Brad Barnes, who lobs it up into Jordan Hulme. It's a good touch down by Hulme. Taylor comes out for it and grabs that one well. But again, Green with that, he's got a lot of strength for a young kid as well. Like, look at him, he is bulky and he's not afraid to take players on, is he, and put himself in potentially compromising situations.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a lovely touch to bring the ball under control following the foul clearance, and he managed to hold on to the ball after slipping over, really, using he was on all fours almost, managing to keep control, and eventually helped Salford retain possession.
I think also his chest quite comfortably there, as to avoid any aggravation. Kennedy bringing it forward for Fylde here. First time they've really got forward. Tom Holland out to the right hand side to Dixon. He's got Wilson on the overlap, finds him. Wilson now looking to get the ball in across the byline, blocking by Scott Burton. Corner coming up for Fylde right at the end of the half here. At Moor Lane, Salford leading 2-0. 44, 59, 99, getting closer to 0-0. It's a corner for Fylde, things that really care. 3 minutes added on.
There'll be a minimum of 3 minutes added time.
I think that's a little bit less than we would have expected. Cross comes in, it's a really poor one, headed back into the mix by Steve Williams, punch cleared by Jay Lynch. Overhead kick comes in from Dan Bradley. Wide to target, and Salford have dealt with that one quite well.
Yeah, I mean, they managed to win the header, and eventually just the ball that came back in wasn't very threatening at all, and it just went straight out of play. Good shepherded out of play by Lynch and Burton.
And again, overcued. Is it pressure getting to Fylde or what?
Maybe. I mean, they just haven't really offered a lot since that really opening chance when Salford cleared it off the line. It's becoming more and more a really crucial point in the game, really.
Half time, Worcester 1, Tamworth 1, Curzon Ashton 1, Bradford Park Avenue 1. We're into second minute of added time here at Moor Lane. Salford leading 2-0 as Nottingham plays ball back to Jay Lynch. Lynch, who looks like he's recovered from that clash with Richie Baker. Maybe lucky to still be on the pitch, but I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of that one. Phoenix heads back to Josh Hine on the right hand side. Meanwhile, Hine into the feet of Jordan Hulme on the corner of the box. Plays in Nottingham. Nottingham with a low cross into the box. It's missed by Williams. And Scott Burton chasing down the left hand side, gets the foot in just before Wilson can get there, and he's won the throne as well, Scott Burton, which is an added bonus.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that really was for the fans there. He's absolutely sprinted across the pitch. I mean, won the 50-50. I mean, I don't think Wilson was expecting him to get there, and he's come in with the sliding challenge and won it.
He's actually given the free kick, Scott Burton as well. He did well to get across and make the ground up initially, but he's won a free kick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a testament for his work to get there. And it'll be Green to look to put a threatening ball in the box here from out on the left-hand side.
Half-time, Halifax 0, Altrincham 0, down at Moss Lane. George Green, meanwhile, with a free kick here from the left-hand side, curls one in, across the box. It's touched away to the edge. Brad Barnes keeps it alive, gets it to Phoenix. Phoenix on the right-hand side now, tries to drill a ball across, blocked by Rowe. Burton now, he miscues his ball back in, Fylde bringing it clear. So Dan Bradley now charging forward over the halfway line. He's brought down by George Green from behind. It's a yellow card for Green. It was a cynical one. He had to make that one. So now Bradley and Brad Barnes are getting involved with each other. A few shoulder claps against each other. It's a necessary one from George Green there, but maybe one who wanted the yellow.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that shows his maturity for such a young player. I mean, it was breaking away 4-on-3, and I think he just had to make the challenge there just after he'd broken into Salford's half. Very cynical, but had to be done.
I think he's already booked George Green, and I wouldn't be surprised to see yellow cards here for Bradley and Brad Barnes as well. I know referees let it go. Fair play, ref. There's handbags. Obviously Bradley frustrated that he's been brought down in that manner. It's a free kick for Fylde, centrally placed. Goes down the middle, looking for Steve Williams. Phoenix heads it clear. Brough going to get on the end of this one. Brings it clear for Salford. Now it's Hine charging down the right-hand side. Josh Hine up against Casper Hughes. Gets a foot in and sent back forward by Tom Kennedy. Picked up by Bohan Dixon just inside the Fylde half. No seconds left as referee blows half-time whistle. Salford City leading 2-0 here at the break against AFC Fylde. blows the whistle. Back underway for the second half, and Fylde with a kick-off. They're kicking right to left in their fluorescent orange shirts. I imagine they'll only get brighter as the floodlights come more into play towards the end of the game. Salford in the reds kicking left to right. One change this afternoon from the 3-0 win at AFC United last weekend. That's who was it again? Josh Hulme for James Poole, who's out injured with a thigh strain. So the full team: Jay Lynch, Michael Nottingham, Patrick Brough, Simon Graham, the captain, and the opening goal scorer, Billy Priestley. Midfield: Scott Burton and Brad Barnes, with George Green playing just in front of them. And then an attacking trio of Jordan Hulme, who scored the second goal as much as Michael Nottingham tried to pinch it off him, with Mike Phoenix and Josh Hyde. Phoenix at the moment down the corner, he gets back heel through to Jordan Hulme. Hulme now on the byline trying to get his ball across. He's still going, he comes off Williams. Williams holds his ground well, stabs it out to play for a throw to Salford early in this second half, where it's still 2-0. Be hoping to make it 3-0. Stalybridge Celtic have equalised against Stockport. It's 1-1 down at Edgeley Park. So just saying a minute ago there, be good if Stalybridge could get the equaliser. They have done so. Just waiting for Josh Hyde's throw to come in here. Loops towards the near post. It's header clear. Patrick Brough, it falls to, puts it over the bar from a relatively good position again. Slightly unmarked, but just leaning back as he played it.
Yeah, I mean, Fylde on that occasion do win the header, but not really the man you want that chance to fall to. I mean, it felt a pretty decent height. You probably want one of your strikers or your midfielders to have a go at that one. Yeah, get an attempt on target, or even maybe dink it back into the danger area.
And just go back to what you're saying, Jack, you came to Halifax as well. What do you reckon there is cause for fear? Because it's been different games to Halifax. So Phoenix breaking in here, it's Dom Collins gets put in. Yeah, this game's had different feels to Halifax, hasn't it? I'm not too concerned, although there is that niggle in the back of my mind.
No, I think there's definitely sort of improvement from that Halifax game, but there's obviously still going to be that fear, because obviously we took a 2-0 lead at half-time there, and what I think really let us down was sort of that opening sort of 10-15 minutes of that second half, where we allowed Halifax to really get into the game, and I think that's just something that they're going to be wary of and not sort of become too lackadaisical in this start of the second half.
High throw, Breed gets touch on, loose in the middle, shot stabbed forward off the line, still loose. Hulme trying to let off someone, it's still loose, comes to Taylor, still loose. Nottingham hooks it in again off the line, and there's finally put over by someone. My oh my. There were about 5 opportunities for someone to put it in there, 2 goal line clearances. I'll just sum that one up.
I mean, it really was like playground football. I mean, all pretty much most of the players from both teams just crowded around the ball, no one able to get a decent shot on it. I mean, I think it was Hyne who had the first attempt on target, and then it came to Nottingham, managed to almost fashion himself quite a cheeky little goal there, going for the chip, but headed off the line by the Flower defender straight back to him, and unfortunately couldn't get his own header on target and over the bar. So could have been a very important moment there if Salford were to get another goal.
And again, Fylde just struggling with those balls into the box. Maybe it's the lack of captain Josh Langley that's contributing towards that one, or maybe it's just the nerves. Maybe they are feeling how big of a game this is. Hines just winding up another thrown off the far side. I noticed after all that, so Scott Burton was on his haunches in the middle laughing. Nancy Johnson could just about muster a smirk, and a few people around saying, how would you describe that? Well, I don't know. See if this one goes in. High. It's headed clear by Danny Rowe this time. Brad Barnes trying to keep it alive. He scuffs his shot, and now Tom Kennedy bringing it clear for AFC Fylde. Plays the ball out to the right-hand side. George Green's got back there, though. Heads it back to Jay Lynch. And Fylde just aren't quick enough out of the box there. I mean, Danny Rowe's only just made it into the Fylde half, and you'd expect him to be one of the first people up there.
Yeah, I got to say, it was a pretty poor ball up, really. It was they had a lot of time to break. He'd probably better just, dribbling it up a little bit and then picking a pass rather than just a hit and hope, really.
Casper Hughes this time, much better ball, brought down well by Danny Rowe on the left hand side. He's got Billy Priestley just outside of him, plays a nice ball through to Dixon. Dixon up against Grant now in the box, plays it off. So squared across, Casper Hughes playing in Macaulay Wilson on the right hand side, ball in, cleared by Michael Nottingham, comes to Dan Bradley. Bradley in the box now trying to get the shot off, blocked by Scott Burton, comes back out to Wilson, Dane's still not clear. Richie Baker going with it, he gets it to Wilson, and Wilson plays it down to Bradley. Bradley with a cross in, headed clear by Michael Nottingham. Michael Phoenix chasing this one back, put back in by Dom Collins from the halfway line. Dixon's not going to get there, out to play for a goal kick to Salford, but Fylde, I think that's maybe the first real time that they've looked threatening coming forward.
Yeah, I mean, but it wasn't that threatening. I would say, really. I mean, you would have, as I said before, you would think they'd come into this half, really up for it, trying to get the ball in Salford's half as much as they can, really put some pressure on the goal. But they just haven't really done that in this opening 5 minutes of the second half. It's been much as it was in the first half, which is that Salford on top, really.
Lynch's goal kick straight out to play for a throw into Fylde, taken by Tom Kennedy, headed forward by Scott Burton, only into the middle of Danny Rowe and Tom Holland, with the former just giving it away to Patrick Brough, sends it upfield, intercepted by Steve Williams, played back forward by Salford, bounces to Dan Bradley though, a lot of space on the right hand side for the former outer man to work with, puts the cross over. Billy Priestley slid in ahead of Danny Rowe, just made sure that he didn't get there. I think Jay Lynch was confident of coming to get that one. Luckily he clears his own crossbar. Unluckily it's a corner for Fylde, their fourth of the game, and just maybe they'll be sensing getting their tails up for the last minute or so. Cross going to come in from this near side from the corner, in swinging towards the near post, flicked on, it's brought down, cushioned down. Dixon trying to get in there, a foot goes through it and Salford clear it. So Tom Kennedy now plays the ball out to the right. Dan Bradley making his way out to go and get it on the right for Fylde. Gets it past Phoenix into the path of Tom Holland. Holland back to Bradley. It's a heavy touch. Mike Phoenix takes it off him, trying to move Salford out. It's played back over by Tom Kennedy. Played massively back over by Tom Kennedy. And out to play for a throw into Salford in the left back position. But I suppose you just see there, Fylde like Salford in the first half. Those two clearances off the line, give them the confidence to go at the other ends and try and do something.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they seem to be getting a little bit more joy in behind themselves now. So whether that's to do with the Salford just not quite as organised as they were in the first half, but yeah, they're definitely stretching the game a lot more than they did in the first half, and looking more dangerous.
Another throw for Salford on the left hand side. Brough again to take it. I fear that a lot of the players are going to keep coming up Salford's left, which it's great in the first half because they're down in front of us in the main stand, and in the second half it's on the far side and you're straining to see what's going on.
Yeah, it was nice and convenient in the first half. Well, no, it's been interesting to watch Fylde. We've seen them come sort of flying out the blocks in this second half, which I imagine is down to the manager's half-time team talk. But although they've created a couple of chances, none have been horrendously sort of scary in a way, and Salford still looks fairly in charge of the game at the minute, and still a threat on that counter-attack.
So you're saying about the left hand side is where Jordan Hulme is, plays today, and obviously the running that Jordan does. It's forcing the mistake out of Macaulay Wilson there, who was on loan from Blackpool. And Salford have a throw in on the far side again with Josh Hine. It's a little bit of a way out. It's not got such run up in front of where one of the other new stands is having the foundations laid and flattened, ready to be erected. Hine with the throw in towards the near post. It's headed clear by Bohan Dixon out against the far side. Throw in a yard up or so from the corner flag on that far side. Josh Hine again with a chance to get the ball in. See if he can beat Dixon this time. Loops it towards the near post. Simon Graham peeled off, heads it up in the air as Steve Williams again with the clearance. Comes to Brad Barnes on the edge, takes half volley. Good save by Rhys Taylor. Really good technique by Brad Barnes there to take the touch and set himself up. He hit the dipping shot. Taylor got across his goal to his left hand side and palmed it around the post for a corner.
Yeah, I mean the ball's come in there. Fylde managed to get two good clearances away, but the ball's come to him about 25 yards out, probably. Brought it down and hit it straight on the volley. Looked destined for the top corner, but a really good leaping save by Rhys Taylor.
Corner now coming in from George Green, clips it towards the far post, head on it from Simon Grant, claiming it, took a nick off Danny Rowe. Then as it sailed over the bar and out to play for a goal kick to Fylde. It's going back to Brad there. You can see his confidence. He's match fit now. He's played the last 3 or 4, and it looks like he wants to get on. He was saying to you as well that goals is something that he likes to add, and almost did so there.
Yeah, obviously we're talking about his game time has increased as of recently, and the next thing for him really now is to get on the score sheet, and especially when he's allowed to play in that sort of centre midfield position where he can push forward, as long as sort of Scott's sitting in front of that defence. He wants to get forward and get on the ball as much as he can. And you know, when he's got technique like that and he can unleash sort of a volley like that, then you know, I think a goal could be coming sooner rather than later for him.
It's Boston 0, Harrogate Town 2 now. Elsewhere, Phoenix on the left-hand side being, well, looked like he's being held by Steve Williams there. Referee says that Phoenix was holding Steve Williams, so it's a free kick for Fylde in the defensive back line. Reece Taylor coming out to take this one. And Salford got to be careful just not to give away those pernicious little fouls. We've seen them before, and they're the sort of things where once the referee starts going for you, the other teams can start playing to that, and the closer they can get to the box, the more dangerous.
Yeah, the game's in a bit of a lull at the moment. It seems to have gone a bit flat. You can hear the crowd trying to get the Salford players going again, but it's not what the Salford managers will want, because
Great header comes to Dixon, looks up, he's got space to work with here, goes for a low drive across the face of goal. It was Richie Baker sniffing around the 6-yard box for a touch on that one, and goes out to play past Jay Lynch's right hand upright. Goal kick coming up for Salford, but just little shots from like that from distance as well. Obviously it wasn't Rowe who can score from a distance, and Salford let off.
Yeah, I mean, they gave him a little bit too much space there, I think it was, and it was a decent ball into the box. Well, cross come shot, but it turned out to be a decent ball into the box, just flashing across the 6-yard area. And if Baker sort of had that striker's instinct, he might have been in there.
It's thrown for Fylde. It should have been a free kick for Salford just in front of us here. It's Mike Phoenix up against Dom Collins, who had his arm in Phoenix's neck there, just down the back, pushed him down. Referee didn't give it, and Fylde now have the throw. Tom Kennedy's taking an extra few yards, gets into Dan Bradley's poor miscued back towards Kennedy, but he recovers well, plays a loose ball into the middle. Hine picks up those, Salford breaking here. Hine threads it through to George Green, who's offside. He'd gone far too early. Josh Hine took too long to play that ball through. Both Hume and Phoenix and Green were offside there. And a little bit of indecision, maybe should have just gone first time.
Yeah, that was a great chance. I mean, it was 3-on-1 really. If he'd played the ball, it would have been 2 in behind with just Reece Taylor to beat. So, yeah, a first-time pass might have been a better option there.
Taylor with the goal kick, sends up fields, headed cleared by Simon Grant, but only as far as Kennedy. George Green getting in there. And seeing it out for a throw in 2 Fylde. Green's got to be careful. He's on a yellow card after that challenge at the end of the first half. As Kennedy goes down the line, looking for Dixon, who picks up. He's got Nottingham and Priestley surrounding him. The linesman gives the throw in to Salford after Dixon takes it out. But just worryingly, I think I'd say, Sam Walker, he is back fit. He's not played the last couple because he's been injured. But the bench is Craig King, John Johnson, Nick Horton. There aren't really many solid subs there. There's not a central midfielder like Sam, who maybe would be a good idea to bring on in this game.
No, not at all. I mean, really, if I was going to look to make a substitution, you know, it'd be in that middle of the park, get some fresh legs on, and really stop Fylde sort of getting into the game. I think, you know, maybe somebody like Housen could maybe do a job in the middle, but really, there's not as you said, there's not a defined central midfielder on the bench.
Nottingham with the throw, head up in the air by Kennedy. Phoenix trying to get on the end of it. Kennedy gets the clearance in though. Danny Rowe come back for it. Scott Burton beats him to the ball and plays it out to Patrick Brough. He does well to bring it down, cross it back into middle. Josh Hine, lot of space to bring it down, chest it into Barnes. Barnes now trying to get past Bradley, plays it back to Burton. Nottingham a lot of space on the right hand side. Burton picks him out well. Michael Nottingham now looking to get the cross in. He goes inside of his man, as he likes to do. Onto his left foot, he plays one into Phoenix. That's a nice ball. Phoenix right, Nottingham drives it. Took a deflection out for a corner to Salford City. That's where we like seeing Michael Nottingham coming up down the right hand side, cuts in field, and a very dangerous attacking fullback.
Yeah, definitely. He had a lot of space to work with there, and he brings it infield, and a lovely deft little pass with the outside of his right boot. And
I think he miscued it, you know.
Well, I'll give it to him. I think it was genius bit of play. But yeah, the ball bounced back to him, and he managed to get a shot off, and like a ferocious shot, but it got the deflection.
Green with the corner, it's got to run into a good area. Dixon heads this one clear. Hume at the edge of the box trying to get it. Billy Priest brings it down. It's taken off him by Dan Bradley. Now Fylde trying to break. Bohan Dixon on the left hand side, still going with it up against George Green. Scott Burton's there. It goes down very easily, and the referee very correctly gives a free kick to Salford City on the edge of the box. after Bohan Dixon threw himself to the ground. That's a really good decision by the referee.
Yeah, I mean, it was Green who was tracking back with him all the way there, and he had to be very careful, obviously, on that yellow card. But now Dixon has been booked for simulation there, as he sort of just tumbled to the ground in pretty theatrical fashion. Yeah, so now, yeah, you can hear what the fans think about that one. But yeah, Salford's still looking solid at the back here.
I think as far as dives go, I mean, that's even worse than the Halifax one a couple of weeks ago.
I can't really pass comment on it because there is a big pole in the way, so I didn't actually see him go to the ground.
Right, put it this way, we'll be winning Olympic gold in the next games. Josh Hine gives the ball away, it's picked up by Casper Hughes, plays it back to Reece Taylor up in the Fylde half. Taylor being put under pressure, gets it clear, and Bradley flicks it on into Rowe. Rowe brings it down well and plays it across to Baker. Michael Nottingham getting in ahead of Dixon. Jordan Hulme setting off on the right hand side now. Salford got numbers forward here. Hulme tries to with loose Phoenix. It's foot in from Don Collins. Out for a throw, and Salford on this near side. As we hit the hour mark, Salford is still looking very comfortable. 2-0 up here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those bodies flooding forward there. Even Michael Nottingham getting himself into the box. Maybe a slight indecision there from Hulme. Would have been better getting to the byline and drilling one across, because I think Salford did outnumber the Fylde defenders.
I think it's 5-3 maybe there. And Hulme just unlucky. Is the right idea to try and slip it round the corner into the path of Phoenix, but it was good marking from Dom Collins. But now Salford have the throw into trying to attack the Fylde goal once more. Josh Hine just drying it off, making his looping run. Gets in towards the near post. It's flicked away by Tom Kennedy, only as far as Green, who provides the ball back out to Hine. Hine playing it back to Scott Burton, and Fylde very slowly again chasing out as Burton's forced play back to Jay Lynch. Now trying to bring the line up. It's a very messy defensive line this is from Fylde. Lynch sends it back up the other way. Jordan Hulme trying to get on the end of this one. It's played up in the air by Dom Collins, and eventually Josh Hine gets on the ball on the right hand side, plays it down for Jordan Hulme, but it's a mistake by Tom Kennedy, out to play for a throw into Salford City. And I think Fylde are ready to make a substitution. Matt Blinkhorn looks like the player ready to come on for them. I think they're going to wait until us. So he's taken short by Hine into Green. Green on the corner of the box now onto his left foot, puts a lovely cross into far post, just too high for Phoenix, who was stretching for it. And he goes out play for goal kick. That was a wonderful cross in.
It was, yeah. I mean, he got it out his feet. I was sort of expecting him a shot on his rocket of a left boot there, but he just floated one to the back post, and Phoenix just couldn't get anything on it. Just floated over his head.
Goal kick for AFC Fylde, 62 minutes played, still 2-0 to Salford City here at Moor Lane. Taylor's goal kick is played out by Simon Grant under pressure from Danny Rowe, who's going to take the throw in himself. He goes down the line looking for Bohan Dixon, who's trying to get past Billy Priestley. He does so. Jalen's come out of his goal, smothered it, and Priestley gets his foot through it, gets it clear. Right field now, Jordan Hulme can chase onto this one. Tom Kennedy plays the ball back. Taylor stretching for it, kicked it out. Only for a throw in Salford City on this near side. George Green coming over quickly to take it. Goes back to Michael Nottingham. And Nottingham leaving it off for George Green. Looking up, deciding what he's going to do. Goes to the crossfield ball looking for Mike Phoenix, who jumps for it. He's put off there by Macaulay Wilson itself to play for a throw into Fylde in the right back position, who instantly still waiting to bring Blinkhorn on. They're going to take this throw. Anthony Johnson just urging Jordan Hulme to get back and do a little bit more defending. Scott Burton wins the throw in from Wilson, heads it straight back into his arms, and Fylde have another throw. Wilson goes back forward again. It's flicked on by Bradley, but cleared by Patrick Brough back up field. Goes the other way from Steve Williams, and Brad Barnes playing it the other way. Again, Williams back up. It's a little bit of end-to-end stuff here at Moor Lane. Simon Grant eventually plays it down the line. Josh Hine, chasing to keep it in, does so just by the corner flag. Looks up, he's trying to cut back in field. Josh Hine plays back to Patrick Brough. Brough with the cross in, flicked on by Jordan Hulme up in the air. Taylor's got a lot of space to come and claim that one though, and does so quite comfortably. Gets it clear for Fylde. Bohan Dixon again chasing it down. Nottingham heading it back towards Jay Lynch, and again that's comfortable for Lynch to gather. I think looking at Fylde, they keep playing these long balls and they're just lacking the presence of Danny Rowe. He's not putting himself about up there as you might expect him to.
Yeah, I think that's credit to the Salford defenders. I mean, all four of them big 6 foot plus guys, and they're not letting himself impose himself physically on the game. And they're pretty, especially Nottingham. We saw there he's got a bit of pace about him. They're not getting beaten in behind. It's all pretty comfortable really from the Salford defence. Haven't had much to deal with so far.
Foul by Dom Collins on Jordan Hulme after Hulme won the header. So free kick for Salford just to the right hand side of goal. George Green looking to take it from about 15 yards down from the halfway line. Left footed, Green, flat delivery. It's headed clear by Bohan Dixon at the edge of the area. It's now Casper Hughes trying to bring it free on the right hand side. Plays it back to the feet of Tom Holland, and Holland with the ball over the top. Won by Scott Burton. Got in front of his man well there, who's Dan Bradley, now to play for a throw in to Fylde on the far side. They've got play back underway. Fylde wanted to make the substitution there. And Steve Williams curls it forward. Billy Priestley brings it under his control, holds it off. Dan Bradley lays it off for Green. Green cues the ball over. Phoenix is flagged offside. That's a very close call.
Yeah, I would agree, very close. I mean, there must be inches in it. It looked like Phoenix did get to the ball first as well, so he could have been in for a third there if he was able to round the keeper.
No substitution now coming on. Off comes the labelled cheat Bohan Dixon for Matt Blinkhorn. You might be able to hear the jeers and stuff around as he makes his way straight down the tunnel as well. Obviously not too happy with his work this afternoon. And another substitution is ready. Brendan Daniels coming on in place of Tom Holland. So the Swansea youngsters' first appearance for Fylde out of the way. He's not really offered too much, but obviously Brendan Daniels is much more well-known name to his Fylde side, and he'll be looking to put himself around.
Yeah, I mean, it's really looking just to freshen up that front line, I think, from Fylde. I mean, they haven't offered a lot. I mean, they've put in a few crosses, but the Salford defence have just been pretty untroubled, really.
Both players gone straight up top as well. As like an attacking three now for Fylde, so they've got to go for this one. Rowe heads it down. It's up in the air from Brad Barnes, brought down by Dan Bradley at the edge of the box now. Ball's played down. Billy Priestley gets across, gets the clearance in as well. Scott Burton keeps it in on this right hand side. Now he's driving forward, gets into feet to Josh Hine, clips off of his heels though, and Brendan Daniels just going to slow play down for Fylde, trying to get past Hine, and Burton doesn't suit. Burton plays in Jordan Hulme is flagged offside there. And gets the crossover. That was good play by the two of them there, Hine and Burton.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you talk about the sort of pressing in packs, and that was a prime example of it. Both of them there just harrying the substitute player, getting the tackle in and playing Hulme down the wing, but the linesman had judged it to be offside.
I think Jordan might have just about been offside. I know you weren't too happy with that, Jack.
No, I'm assuming that this linesman has got unbelievable vision, because each decision he's last, especially the last two, must have been millimetres. So if he's right, fair play to him.
Phoenix trying to bring Salford forwards. He brings that one down well. Josh Hine chasing down Tom Kennedy here. Kennedy's taking a touch. He's got to deal with this one. He does just about keep it in. Michael Nottingham gets challenging. Falls kindly for Hine. Hine now plays the ball into middle. Hulme brings it down on the acrobatic half volley turn. I'm not sure what it was. He keyed it up for himself. Tries to go for the first time shot. Taylor saved it as near post. Now Fylde breaking on the right hand side. Dan Bradley slipping the ball down into the path of Macaulay Wilson. It's a goal for Bradford Park Avenue, taking the lead 2-1 at Curzon National, but Fylde coming forward here. Casper Hughes out to the right hand side to Wilson, cuts inside of George Green, looking to get the cross into the box now. Squares it instead to Casper Hughes. Hughes across one more to Richie Baker. Baker plays out to Kennedy. Kennedy back into Baker. Fylde just starting to knock it around a little bit. It's a loose ball back, and Jordan Hulme picks up on it. It was a late challenge in from Brad Barnes and on Baker. And Fylde, quite fortunately, have a free kick in the middle of the park here.
Yeah, I mean, he's called it out for a foul there, but I think it's a strong challenge. He won the ball, as we saw, because it went straight to Phoenix. And Salford had an attempt to break there, so I think Fylde have got off lucky with that one, to be honest.
Just the left-hand side of goal. Richie Baker standing over it, looking to be on the pitch still. A few more confirmations that he should have been sent off in the first half. Baker curls one in towards far post, offside this time against Dom Collins. It's a free kick for Salford, maybe a little bit calmer coming into play there. It's Salford got to be careful with those changes, because it changed the dimension of the game, hasn't it? Now Salford have got to think a little bit more defensive-mindedly with those attacking substitute files.
Definitely. I mean, they've got to just keep concentrating at the back, ensure that the two midfielders in the middle, Burton and Barnes, will just continue to break up play. But yeah, there's definitely more emphasis on the back four now. But on the other hand, they're looking dangerous on the break as well, as Fylde sort of just pushing men forward more and more.
Blinkhorn tries to get the clearance straight up into Jordan Hulme, plays the ball over the top. Phoenix out muscling Dom Collins here, gets down on the ball. Mike Phoenix on the right hand side of the area, scored the third goal against Fylde back in August, wins the corner out of that one. Really good upper body strength there from Fino.
Yeah, definitely. It's exactly what you want from your target man, just being able to hold off his opposition, the centre half there. And he's won that just from pure strength, really. And now another corner for Salford now, and looking to bag a third.
Green's come over to take it from this near side. Again, looking to get a good delivery, and George Green on loan from Burnley goes again towards far post. No one there for Salford. Michael Nottingham chasing down to keep this one in. I think he just about has. I thought that one had gone. Macaulay Wilson clears it up though for Fylde, sends it back up the pitch over the halfway line. Scott Burton plays ball into middle into Brad Barnes, brings it down well. He's being chased down, but he sends the ball cross field to the right hand side. He's going to run out to play for throw-in. Spot something there, Jack?
Yeah, just as that corner came in there, and Billy Priestley was stood out towards the far post, and as he turned to try and get towards the ball, one of the Fylde players just had hold of his shirt, not like a hugely telling way, but quite an obvious way, and it was interesting to see whether the ref took note of that or not.
Scott Burton brings the ball down the middle for Salford here. Josh Hine on the right hand side trying to trick his way past Richie Baker. Got to be careful, he was on a yellow card. Gets a foot in, out play for a throw into Salford. Hine, he's already there. Whether he should be on the pitch or not is another idea. We'll start going on about that one shortly. Jay Lynch looks to have recovered, so I suppose you can forgive him to an extent. Hine drying off the ball and getting ready to put this one in. There's a weird lull just gone around the ground.
Yeah, I think they're calm before the storm, hopefully. I mean, another throw in which he shouldn't really be a threatening position, but it's been one of Salford's main threats.
Hine towards the near post, it's headed out by a Fylde player. It's just going to go for another throw into Salford, a little bit further up the pitch, a couple of yards up from the corner flag. And again, Josh Hine will be looking to play that one in. Another good position for him to get one flat in. Try and drop one in. I think we've had more throws than corners for definite. Hines right into the middle there, foot on it from Hulme, it's just bobbling and just bobbles up into the arms of Rhys Taylor. He didn't really get a clean connection on that one, Jordan Hulme. Might have wanted a cleaner one. It came to him at an awkward height, and luckily for Fylde, he didn't get a clean connection.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he would have expected the ball to actually reach him, because he was right in the middle of it, right in the thick of things, and the ball came to him. He's quite low down. He swung his boot at it. He just got a toe on it. No real clean connection, and it just span off to the side, made for an easy save.
Substitution for Salford City. On comes Craig King in place of George Green, who, like I said, it's on a yellow card. He maybe looked like he's getting a bit ragged off, but he's put a really good shift in this afternoon yet again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was sort of dropping back, maybe due to a bit of fatigue, seemed to be dropping into more of a sort of deep line playmaker role towards the last 10 minutes. But King will come on, fresh set of legs in midfield. And that's what Salford need, just to keep winning these second balls, which they have been doing all afternoon.
Ball's bounced through to Phoenix on the right hand side here. It's a challenge from Steve Williams, who's just held off Phoenix long enough to see the ball go out for a throw into Fylde. Phoenix, who really looked up for this one, he'll be desperate to try and add a goal. With 17.5 minutes to go, Salford still leading 2-0 here at Moor Lane. Just looking to hang on. Blinkhorn's ball is won by Brad Barnes, but he gives it away to Wilson. Nice little back heel into Casper Hughes. He's going to try and set the counter attack off for Fylde. Plays it back out to Wilson on the right hand side. He's been trapped by Craig King. Turns back and plays it into Dan Bradley, who's dropped off the attacking line. Tries to play the ball down the right hand side, out of reach thing from Matt Blinkhorn's, fair to say with that one, and goal kick coming up for Salford City. Still looking disjointed, Fylde.
Yeah, I mean, I think that little moment just sums up their day so far. I mean, a player tries to play a nice little ball down the back down the line, and just was nowhere near the intended recipient of that pass, and he sort of just held his head high, looked to the skies, just to say, like, just what's going on, basically. I don't think they can believe that the level of performance they've put in today.
In the FA Trophy, it's Wealdstone Raiders 1, Brackley Town 4. I think it's still 3-0 to York City against Nuneaton Town. Salford City win a throw-in just on this near side. 15 minutes to go, leading 2-0. Michael Nottingham, I think he's taking his time, and Salford are going to start doing over these set pieces now. He comes to retrieve this one in. It's probably within Josh Hine's territory, but Nottingham's going to take it. Craig King makes a sprint short to him, plays it back to Nottingham. Just clips over his man, comes off I think that was Brendan Daniels out for another throw, and this time Josh Hine is going to be the one to take it. Come on, loop one over. Josh Hine has certainly made an impact in this match. Coming in for James Poole today, who's still out injured. Just winding this one up again. Salford players getting into the box. Priestley, Brough, Phoenix, Grand all looking to make runs. Hine does lead this one in towards near post. Grand tries to get the flick in it. Comes Craig King. It's cleared by Fylde. Danny Rowe bringing it clear. Plays it into the path of Casper Hughes, but it's picked up by Brad Barnes on the left hand side now. Barnes up against Richie Baker. He's got Phoenix down to left, and he finds him really well there. That's a lovely touch from Brad Barnes. It's now Mike Phoenix trying to turn past his man. He's still going with it. Phoenix on the byline. Just needs to pull it back. Tries to send it through to Hume. Comes to King. It's taken off his feet. Cleared only as far as Hine. Hine on his right foot. Shot towards far post. Phoenix! Shot for 3-0! What a really good phase of play there from the Yamis as that one was built up. Hine dragged it across from the edge of the box. Phoenix hit the back post. Plenty of space. And Salford City lead 3-0 with 15 minutes to go here.
Yeah, I mean the balls came to him in a great position there, and I think, to be fair to him, he didn't mean that, Hume, but he's dragged his shot wide, and Phoenix there with a striker's instinct, beats his man to it and puts the ball into an empty net. 3-0 Salford.
Phoenix is on fire, is surely going to be the chance going out and around here at Moor Lane as Salford score another. That's another 3-0 at the moment as it stands, and it's absolute dreamland.
It is. I mean, the managers couldn't ask for any more. They've really played the league leaders off the park here, and 3-0. What a scoreline! Not many would have expected this one, that's for sure.
And 40 minutes to go, Jack. I mean, this is getting really, really exciting now, I think.
Definitely, we were talking earlier obviously about Halifax result, the Halifax result of the week, and not sort of responding in that second half, and this is the response we're looking for. Definitely will be.
Hume on this near touchline, he's kept in, he's still going. Jordan Hulme, it comes off the back of Richie Baker out for a throw to Salford. And this is just, it's another level. I mean, Jack just said about the response there. I asked John about it before the match. He said it in his programme notes. This is still the response from the bad run that we had earlier in the season. Like, it's just kept coming from there. It's just that one loss from Halifax since then. It's a nasty challenge in from Richie Baker. And that, I know it's not Richie Baker, tell a lie, it's Macaulay Wilson. He's going to get a yellow card for signing down Patrick Brough there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a cynical challenge, but it had to be done because Brough had the ball in behind him, and he was going to get onto it, and there was loads of space down that left-hand side for him to take a touch and whip a ball into Phoenix. I'm sure Phoenix is going to double his work right now. He's going to be well out for this one.
So Stockport 2, Stadium Bridge Celtic 1, retaking the lead there. Salford looking to make it 4 from this set piece. Patrick Brough's got himself up. He's going to take it himself. Alright, so Brough place it down, and he will be looking to get the cross in here. Salford City will be looking for that 4th goal. Referee's ready for this one to come in. Brough, left footed, chips into the middle of the box. Reece Taylor comes for it, he had the room too. And much to the delight of Fylde, I'm sure, catches that one, brings it under control. Scott Burton heads that one out to play, brings a little bit of unnecessary pressure on Salford here, so throw in for Fylde on the far side. Dan Bradley getting it back underway quickly, playing it back to Macaulay Wilson. Wilson plays back to Baker in the middle. Baker into Casper Hughes. Hughes getting past his man, gets it to Rose, got space to look up and think about the shot. Left footed, it was dipping, but that one's taking a deflection. It's out to play for a throw, corner, to Fylde away to the left hand side on this near side. So I think in taking the block there, he's a little bit winded.
Yeah, I think he's blocked it with a part of his body that he doesn't really want to block a football with. But he seems to be alright.
Corner coming in for Fylde here. I'm not sure who's put that one down. Whoever it is, they've got Brendan Daniels short, could be Blinkhorn. Anyway, the in-swinger corner comes in into the middle of the goal. It's headed clear well by, I think that was Mike Phoenix, doing his defensive duties. Casper Hughes now turning, trying to play the ball back in, gets it across instead to Tom Kennedy. Kennedy with the crossfield ball to Baker, and Baker chipping that one into the area to the far side. It's brought down by Fylde, edge of the box now. It's Daniels comes in from Baker, and it's a goal kick for Salford City. Stealth wide by Blinkhorn there, and much relief for Salford.
Yeah, I mean, Fylde looking a little bit threatening there, but I mean, Salford just defended just really well this game. I can't really say any more. They've just looked comfortable. I mean, even there, just cool heads under pressure, and then the shot eventually comes in, but it wasn't in a great position. It's been closed down well by Grand, and it went harmlessly wide.
There are substitutions for Salford coming up. On comes John Johnson for the last 10 minutes in place of Mike Phoenix, and Nick Horton's also going to come on. We'll just see who in place of. Phoenix obviously getting a nice warm applause. He scored the third goal as he did before. And it's going to be Josh Hine coming off in place of Nick Horton, who's also going to get a 10-minute cameo in this game. And Salford, I suppose, they can go for the fourth. They've got that little bit of breathing space.
Yeah, I can't really see Fylde coming back into this one now. I mean, judging on firstly the scoreline, but from what we've seen today, other than that opening chance when it was cleared off the line, they really haven't threatened the goal. And a couple of changes up front keep things fresh for Salford, and you'd think they'll be even more dangerous on the break now with those fresh legs.
Scott Burton handing the ball back to Jay Lynch after it's played over by Fylde. 10 minutes to go. Salford leading 3-0. I'm not sure many people would have expected or whatever that to be the case, and at the moment gunning for a 6th straight home clean sheet as well, Salford. Incredible run at the moment. John Johnson on the right hand side now, down in the corner, tries to cut inside of his man. It's picked up by Jordan Hulme. It's out to play for a throw into Salford. Maybe Michael Nottingham will look to get the long one in now. Josh Hine's gone out off the field. Maybe Salford just look to consolidate and go short. John Johnson's made a sprint short, as does Craig King. King's gone towards the byline. Johnson pulling off a little bit. He's got a lot more space, but he goes to King instead in the corner. Tries to roll it across the byline, looking for Jordan Hulme. It's going to be a free kick for Filey after a foul by Craig King. Just very gently, I think you can say, into the back of his marker there.
Yeah, I think the Fylde defender just sort of awarded himself the free kick there. Just went down, stayed on top of the ball, just forced the ref to make a decision.
Reece Taylor looking to get the ball in, or going again for Fylde rather. Comes to Dan Bradley, stretches net to try and head it into the path of Brendan Daniels, but it's well cleared by Michael Nottingham up in the air. Scott Burton challenging Richard Baker for that one. Another challenge comes in, it's won by Blinkhorn. Billy Priestley stabs it clear again up in the air. Craig King getting underneath it and heads it down to Casper Hughes, who puts it right up in the air again. King wins the header there, out to play for a foul thrown on the near side. Tom Kennedy with the ball in his hands, taking another 5-6 yards there from where the ball went out of play. Gets into Danny Rowe. Rowe up against Craig King and Brad Barnes. Barnes gets good foot in. King plays back to Nottingham, and Nottingham plays it upfield. Jordan Hume's going to chase Steve Williams for this one. Williams heading it back to his goalkeeper though. Reece Taylor not had a very happy afternoon. So he rolls out to Tom Kennedy. I remember reading a story this week about Salford used to have a talisman who always scored against Fylde, went by the name, it's just escaping me, it was Steve something. Steve someone. Anyway, here's Mike Phoenix becoming that talisman for Salford against Fylde. Also scored in the reverse and scored in this one. Cross comes in from far towards the back post where Danny Rowe's waiting. Michael Nottingham's headed it out to play for another corner to Fylde. Salford as much as possible, just need to get the boots through some of these clearances and just get it back upfield.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Nottingham did that really well there to, avoid any potential danger by trying to bring the ball down. Rowe was lurking there, and I'm pretty sure he would have scored from that position, given his record and the proximity to the goal.
Baker going to take this corner for AFC Fylde. Another in swinging from this near side, goes towards far post, peeling off was Steve Williams, puts the ball back in. It's headed down by Don Collins, swinging miss from Michael Nottingham. Jay Lynch comes and claims it at this near post though, and danger averted. I'm sure it'll take as much time as possible to try and get this one clear.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of just running down the clock now for Salford, but they're still looking dangerous on the break, especially with Horton, the new players coming on. His kick's just gone a little bit too far, then over the heads of everyone. But
6 minutes to go. Salford leading 3-0. Very expected 3-0 lead. It's a very grateful 3-0 lead, I'm sure, if you ask any Amis fan. And I suppose anyone else in the league as well. I mean, Kidderminster will be thanking us, won't they? And the likes of Chorley and Darlington will be saying thank you very much for just holding back Fylde that little bit, because you never know what this is going to do to them. If it stays like this, of course. Brough heads the ball into the middle meanwhile, and Brad Barnes gets it clear. Jordan Hulme's going to challenge for this one against Don Collins. He lets it come to his feet. Craig King nips in and picks it up, and Salford again looking to break. It was a very crucial head in there from one of the foul players, just as it was going to fall for Jordan Hulme, and they managed to work it back to Reece Taylor. There's now 5 minutes to go. I'm sure this clock's getting slower. That might just be a position. It might just be me. I'm not sure if I mentioned it. FC Halifax Town are taking the lead at Altrincham. That's 1-0 to Halifax. Liam King with the goal there. Grand's headed clearance, brought down by John Johnson, bringing Michael Nottingham into the game. First time forward, back to Jordan Hulme, taps it into Johnson. This is nice football there. Salford loner. John Johnson driving forward now, plays it into path of Nick Horton. Horton now into the box, onto his right foot. He's challenged by Macaulay Wilson, picks up the dregs though. Still going with it, Nick Horton. He's dragged down by Macaulay Wilson. Referee says nothing doing, but Scott Burton clears it up and gets it to Brough. Brough to King, who's onside here. Craig King now looking to play the ball into middle. Johnson trying to touch into Jordan Hulme. Comes to Nick Horton, trying to set himself up, runs into traffic, and I think it's Steve Williams getting his body in the way and getting that one clear. Headed back forward by Brad Barnes. Pressure still not clear for Fylde. Dan Bradley heads it into middle. Jordan Hulme's nipped in and won that one. Plays it over his head into Craig King. King heads it back forward, but Don Collins gets that one clear out to right hand side. Rowe picks it up in a right wing position, not one that's familiar to him. He'd rather be up top trying to get a consolation goal. He's hacked down by Scott Burton. Free kick for FC Fylde, naturally taken very quickly. And it's brought out this near side into Tom Kennedy. Kennedy now with the ball down the left hand side, trying to release Brendan Daniels. Michael Nottingham and Billy Preety between them trying to sort out. Daniels gets the cross in. It's loose. Danny Rowe comes forward. It goes to the shot. And very un-Danny Rowe-like drags it wide to the far post.
Yeah, Priestley and Nottingham there unable to stop the cross coming in. Just bobbled out into just to the edge of the box. It's been closed down by Scott Burton, but Rowe able to get the shot away, and many would have betted on him scoring from there actually with his 35 league goals this year, but he just wide and saves Lynch's clean sheet.
At the moment, just one shot on target for Fylde so far. 3 minutes to go in this match, and I don't know, you know, I mean, we were saying about FC United last week, we weren't expecting them to be that poor. We expected a bit more fight. Same for Fylde this week, and it does just get your head thinking, hold on, is it they're poor, or is it generally Salford have just clicked?
I think it's a mixture of a few things coming together, really. And I think, you know, we were talking before about Salford's home form being a big boost for them.
Hulme chasing on to this one here. It comes off the back of Steve Williams. Don Collins going to clear it up. Back to you, Jack.
You know, we were talking earlier about how Salford's home form, you know, it'd be a big confidence boost for them, but now looking at these performances, you know, look at like when Kidderminster came here, Nuneaton, both the two informed teams at those times, and it makes me question whether Salford's home form is something that plays on the mind of the visiting teams as well. You know, this is now only losing one game in the league all season here. It's becoming, you know, it's a bit cliche to say it's a fortress and whatnot, but that's what it seems to be, and I don't see many teams in the league coming here and actually getting a result from us.
Fylde played back forward. Billy Priestley winning the header, brought down by John Johnson. Takes touch out to the right hand side. Johnson trying to cut field, wins the throw in off Richie Baker. Just over a minute to go in this one. Salford leading very comfortably 3-0. This has to be comeback of the century, I think, for it to change anywhere, lads. And that clean sheet's becoming more and more important now.
Yeah, definitely. The game's sort of winding down now. Salford have been comfortable pretty much the whole game, but they're looking even increasingly so. And yeah, they're camped out in Fylde's half at the moment, really. And
Nottingham with the throw, brought down by Jordan Hulme on his back heel. It comes out for another throw into Salford on this near side. And any thoughts on man of the match, both of you? Do you want a minute? Yeah, you want a minute? We'll come back in a minute when this throw's been taken. Nottingham gets into King. King chesting it back to John Johnston. Brings it into his possession well. Johnston does. Plays the ball into the middle, into Patrick Brough, who's got a lot of space. 45 seconds to go till 90 minutes. Brough's crossed in, header cleared by Don Collins, brought down by Barnes. Barnes plays it out to the right hand side to King. King on the corner of the box now, trying to work an opening, gets crossed in, takes deflection, back post. Johnson hits the bar, comes to Hulme. Hulme makes it 4! And there's the inappropriate dab, but Salford City 4, AFC Fylde 0. That was too easy in the middle there for Hulme to tap in. JJ unlucky to hit the bar. There was Hume anticipating it, puts it away, and this results in no doubt now.
Yeah, I mean, the cross has come into the far post, and Horton was there. Unlucky perhaps with his header, comes back off the bar, but Hume's there in the middle. Striker's instinct to be in the right place at the right time, and to be fair to him, he's scuffed his finish a bit. A little bit of a topo, but it's found its way into the back of the net, and it's a 4-0 Salford. Just incredible scenes here at Moor Lane.
And 4 minutes at a time. I hate to think about anybody who had any sort of money on this game.
No, not at all. I imagine that if people put a bet on it, it wouldn't have been for Salford to keep a clean sheet at home to Fylde. But no, it's just a complete switch off from Fylde there at the back, and Salford have capitalised on it once again.
Rowe plays it into Blinkhorn, who's held off by Patrick Brough. Blinkhorn plays it back to Macaulay Wilson, who's going to take this throw in. I think it's still 1-1 Chorley Darlington. I think Kidderminster are winning against Barrow up in the FA Trophy. Cross comes in for Fylde. Diving header clear from Simon Grands, who's looks to be limping a little bit, but that's what you want to see from your captain there as those crosses come in. Patrick Brough, he's taken out there. Draws the foul as well from, I think that's Matt Blinkhorn, who's going to get a yellow card for that one. And I don't know if that's changed things, but any further thoughts on man the match?
Well, yeah, changed things a bit because he's got the 2 goals now. He's had a great game, Jordan Hulme. But personally, I'm going to give it to Priestley at the back. I mean, Salford have just looked impeccable at the back today, and I think he's had a lot to do with that. And obviously, getting the first goal as well, the crucial opening goal, and he even almost scored a bicycle kick, which is not something I'm sure he'll do often as a centre half.
Full time, Curzon Ashton 1, Bradford Park, Almingham 2. Jack, your thoughts on MOTM?
For me, I'm not going to give it to one person. I'm going to give it to the midfield partnership of Barnes and Burton.
Brad Burton.
Or Brad Burton, as you now like to call
You're never letting that one go.
No, I don't think I'm ever going to leave that one down, but they've controlled this game from start to finish.
You may be trying to get him for the hat-trick here. It's not the best of defending from Steve Williams. He's conceded the corner. And he was on to that one, Jordan was.
Yeah, obviously, Jordan stood out again as another unbelievable performance, same as he did last week at FC. But that midfield partnership of Brad and Scott, they've just controlled this game from start to finish and have stopped Fylde from playing their game. And, it's worked wonders in our favour.
King with the corner, in swinger towards far post. Simon Grant got his head to it. It's just wide of the near post from the skipper there. I'm sure he'd have been absolutely delighted to get on the action if he could have done. And you know what, as it was on my mind, I was saying about that Steve guy, Jordan Hulme, of course, obviously he scored at Fylde, and now he's got 2 today. He's really the talisman against Fylde.
He is, yeah. I mean, he's put in a great performance today. The two finishes that maybe you won't remember that much, but you'll certainly remember the goals against the top of the league today. He's had a great game.
Into last minute amount of time, miscommunication again from Steve Williams. Foul, get it clear. Scott Burton heads about forward. Craig King's going to bring this one down. He gets past his man, he slips. Momentum taking us down there. John Johnson's chased this one up. Don Collins holds him off. Had to keep the ball in, gets it clear. Nick Horton brings it down though and turns in one move and turns out as well. That's lovely from Nick Horton. Still going Horton. Ball down there. Referee gives it. Penalty to Salford, and surely Jordan's got to take this one. Do you go for the 5th or Jordan hat-trick?
I think you've got to give it to him, to be honest. I know Phoenix would have wanted it had he been on the pitch, but he'll want the hat-trick. I mean, what a run that was from Norton. I mean, that technical ability, first to bring the ball down, facing away from goal in the air. What a touch and what a run.
Jordan Hulme for his hat-trick to make it 5-0 to Salford City up against Reece Taylor. Last minute of the game when this is taken, surely full-time whistle will be blown. So hush. Hulme steps up, chips it in nicely. Jordan's got his hat-trick. Salford City 5, AFC Fylde 0. And you know what, I've run out of ways of describing that. I'm going to go with what the crowd are saying. Easy, easy, easy. They just haven't turned up today, and Salford have made an absolute mockery of them, and that's unreal.
I know, I mean, that is such an audacious thing to do for the hat-trick as well. He must have real confidence in his own ability there. I mean, send the keeper the wrong way, chip it straight down the middle. Absolutely lovely.
Jack, What are you thinking?
I'm going to change my man of the match, if that's all right, from Scott and Brad to Jordan. You know, he's been unbelievable this afternoon, and it's all, you know, him getting a hat trick is Jordan getting a hat trick is just the best way for him. You know, he's been such a player for this team.
Full size Salford City 5, AFC Fylde 0. A hat trick from Jordan Hulme is going to take the headlines, as is the result itself, with Salford serenading off. And just all around, there's not been an aspect to this performance that Salford can look at and think that wasn't done right. A 6th straight clean sheet at home, 5 goals against the league leaders, and that gap's now down to 9 points.
I mean, that's 12 goals in 3 games now as well. It's just, this side is in really incredible form. This is just the complete performance today. The managers literally couldn't ask for any more. And great for Hulme to cap off a brilliant performance with a hat trick and virtually the last kick of the game.